Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the This Is the Music Meets Podcast, an independent podcast show that's dedicated to introducing you to rising indie and alternative artists from across the UK and Ireland. If you're new here, please make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode, and don't be shy. Drop us a comment as we would love to hear from you. All right, let's dive into the new episode. It's episode 138, and we have got an absolutely incredible artist lined up for you today. On today's episode, I'm joined by rising solo artist Jonny to chat all about his new single, Get Your Act Together, that lottery winner's viral video, playing in front of 28,000 fans at Bramnell Lane, plans for 2025, and much, much more. Jonny, welcome to This Is the Music Meets Podcast. How's everything going for you right now?
Yeah, thank you for having me on. It's nice to see you screen to screen, as we said earlier, for the first time. Yeah, buzzing for it. Everything's going all right at the minute. Got a lot of gigs planned, and then I've got my A-levels coming up as well. So if I fail them, it's because of this. So I've got to try and do as much as I can for this.
I like that. Most people say it's going to be the other way around. At the exams, you're going to fall back on them, but you're obviously relying on the music as the fallback.
Yeah, it's I don't think that might backfire on me, but
Well, I'm sure you'll be fine. What's your A level? What are you studying for? Quite a few different things, or?
yeah. So I'm doing three. I did an EPQ, but that was literally pointless because I found out that I didn't even need it. So I was a lot of stress for a lot of nothing. And then I'm doing English, media, and business as my three A levels that I'm doing.
Right.
So yeah, there's a lot of writing in it, but I'm gonna try and get through it.
Yeah, nice. Well, good luck. When's that? June, July time, is it, the exam?
It's literally 2.5 weeks until my first one, and then I've got another one after that, and then I've got a week off, and then I'll go into the June ones, and then it should be over soon.
And then at the end of it, a big old piss up, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Brilliant. So look, I'm obviously good luck with that, and as I say, I'm really, really pleased to have you here on the podcast. So kind of like then for you, let's go right back to the very beginning before people know you sort of as you are now. What kind of like then were your earliest musical memories growing up?
Well, I remember when I was younger, my dad. I think the first sort of thing was my dad when I was about four or something showed me the music video to Thriller.
Right.
Which my mum has had a go at him since because I think I had nightmares for about a week or two after that. I think I might have pissed my pants, but I'm not 100% sure. But apart from that, it was my dad got me a ukulele when I was about 10. Just had
Yeah.
no interest in it. I had no interest in it at all. I think I found out I don't really like it when people like teach you it. If that sounds
Yeah,
weird,
yeah.
but which could backfire on my A levels as well. But 'cause I remember he used to like tell me, "I'll learn this song," and I just had no interest in it. So I can't. It was always football for me when I was younger.
Yeah.
And my dad and my mum always used to play the 80s sort of songs. So I'd love them that sort of tunes. I never really liked the sort of newer popular music that all my mates were listening to. It was always like Hooked on a Feeling. I remember being one of my favorites back in the day.
Yeah.
But yeah, now it's only recently, really, like the last 3, 4 years, probably three, that we've been proper into this new wave of indie music that I think I'm absolutely loving. I've got my friends into now as well, so I'm liking it at the minute. But yeah, back in the day, it was always the 80s sort of stuff, and apart from that, it was football, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, nice. And you're saying there then about your dad obviously getting the ukulele when he was about 10. So was that something that he played himself previously, or?
No, he claims that he can play stuff, but he cannot do anything with any sort of strings or anything. He learned how to do a bit of zombie, I believe, like a few months ago. Can do two chords on that, but apart from that, he can't. He says that he could do the cello when he was younger, but that's a load of crap as well, I reckon.
It's all it's all coming out now. This is going to be good to look back on for the family in a few years' time.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get a smack.
So then from playing the ukulele then, so how quickly then did you go from that to playing guitar?
So it was I was about 14, I must have been 15, I think. And I started doing ukulele bits, and I realized I was I said this before, I think I realized I was too fat for football. And you know that everybody, it's like a canon event. Everyone has that moment when they're younger, they're like, I can't be a footballer anymore. So
Yeah.
I got this ukulele, and I picked it up again, and I started learning it when I was about 15, and I just loved it. Like I loved immediately. Like I feel like it was immediate. I just started writing my own sort of tunes. Like I don't think you could really call them tunes back then, but
Yeah.
sort of melodies myself, and
Yeah.
they were I was like playing them for like school events and those sort of things. Like you're playing in front of the parents that don't want to see you; they just want to see their kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've always been quite like confident doing that sort of stuff. So I've started putting it on like YouTube and that.
Hmm.
And obviously we'll get into it later. But about the I put for the lottery winners, who were my favorite band at the time and still are. And then I think since then and all that happened, I kind of went into music. I was like, right, well, I like to do some guitar now. I even started doing a bit of keyboard as well, but that's got lost now, so I'm stuck with the guitar. And yeah, it just kind of started from there. I think because I was so, used to the ukulele, like I could easily drift into the guitar sort of stuff, and I
Hmm.
never had that moment, where people pick up a guitar and they're like so frustrated because they can't get the right chords. But
Yeah.
I had the base of it, and then I kind of just was able to leapfrog from
Hmm.
there.
Hmm. Yeah. So it's quite an easy progression then from the ukulele then into the guitar.
Yeah, I think so. Like I've seen I think Billie Eilish said it once. Like anyone can play the ukulele. Like anyone could pick up the ukulele and within a day can learn four main chords, and you can pretty much play 90% of songs with them four chords. So it's like, and then if you know the ukulele, then you can the sort of strumming and stuff, and it all links to the guitar sort of stuff because
Hmm.
the last three on the guitar are the same as the last three on the ukulele. So I was just doing those sort of things, and then you kind of progress through. So it's kind of easy for me to get my head around it like that, and it was came easy to me.
Yeah, yeah, sure. So you obviously just mentioned there then about the lottery winners. Obviously, you effectively, I guess, sort of come into the. I'm not sure. I guess this is the right word, but like the public domain, if that's
Yeah,
the right way of putting it. Obviously, with a cover of one of their songs, which obviously was called "Favorite Flavor." So a couple of questions then, really. Why, well, three, I guess, effectively. Why that band, which you've kind of already touched on, but why that song? And then can you just maybe remember the things? I believe it was obviously Tom from the band that got in touch with you, right?
yeah. So it was as I was saying before, my mum and dad kind of only got into this indie sort of music three years ago. It was at Kendal Calling, if you know where that is, a
Yeah,
festival
yeah,
in Kendal, funnily enough. Or it's not actually, but it's near it. Um, and there was I think it's Sam Ryder, who's in Eurovision, came second, was like the best thing ever. He
yeah,
was supposed to be in this big um festival stage. Don't know why
yeah.
I'm struggling to remember the word stage. And then he I think he backed out the last minute or something. The lottery winners got that slot, so there was loads of people in there for Sam Ryder, not realizing that he couldn't do it. And then my mum and dad were like, "Oh, we'll go see Sam Ryder." Um, and I wasn't there, but they went down and then they saw the lottery winners, and I think even me and my dad were like, "Oh, let's go then." And then they saw the lottery winners and instantly were like, "All right, we'll stick around for these." And then after, because I think me and mum and dad have always been stalkers a little bit, and they came round and like literally after their set, they spoke to Tom, spoke to Joe and Kate. I think my dad spoke to Joe because he had the same dodgy football kit that Joe
Ah,
had. He was the drummer of the Lottery Winners, and
yeah,
yeah, like immediately for them two, they said to me like, "Look, listen to this band. You might not like them, but we love them, and they're like lovely people." And I'll be honest, for the first like few times, because again, I think it's because my mum and dad were like forcing it onto me. I was a bit like, I'm not really that bothered. And then
yeah, yeah.
it was like that sort of guilty pleasure. I'd go home and like listen to the Lottery Winners again, and I'd be like, quite like these. Um, and then since then, it was again with the ukulele. I was just doing ukulele at that point, and then I was like, right, I'll try learn some of these. And then yeah, because I'd like be playing random chords. I'd be like, that sounds like the Lottery Winners song.
Mhm.
And then it was pretty much my first ever gig, and it was coming up to that. And my mum and dad had got me a ticket to go watch the Lottery Winners because they'd found out about my guilty pleasure at this point. And then I was playing the songs, and I used to have like a little embarrassing YouTube channel when I was in high school and primary school, and I used to just post a load of football videos and music videos on that. And then I decided to post a lottery winners cover of Favorite Flavor, as you know, and then I think I put it on the fan group as well, like my dad did, and then loads of the fans were like, "Oh, this is brilliant! Like, you should." And it basically got a lot of traction on their fan page, I believe, and I
Yeah.
had no idea. And then I put it on YouTube, and then Tom messaged my dad, I think,
Right.
and
Okay.
said, my dad said, "Oh, we're coming down." Oh, that was it. I think they went to a gig in Middlesbrough to watch the Lottery Winners,
Mm.
and then I was going to go to the one in Mexborough, the Gorilla Beer
Yeah.
Hall, and they saw them in Middlesbrough. I might be getting some details wrong. And then my dad said to Tom, like, "Oh, this is my son who did the thing." And then Tom was like, "Oh, tell him to bring his ukulele to the gig." And you never know with these things, like when whether it's just words and stuff. So my dad told me, like, I'll bring the ukulele. So I brought the ukulele, and then I immediately got there. It was my first proper, music gig.
Yeah.
And I got there, I was like, oh, this is a bit bigger than I thought it'd be. Um, and then I got there, I was proper cacking my pants the whole time. Didn't know if it was going to happen or not. And then halfway through, Tom was like, we've seen this thing on YouTube. It's this young lad, first ukulele up on stage with the Lottery Winners. Then he asked me up, and I played in front of can't remember how many people are in there, but it's a lovely, lovely venue, the Gorilla Beer Hall.
Yeah.
And I played, and it was just like one of the best experiences of my life. The first time I've ever been to a gig, got invited up on stage, and that's the first time I've sort of like played in front of a big crowd like that, where
Yeah.
everyone's watching me for me, and I was proper. I think they didn't really have the ukulele plugged in properly, and I was playing all the wrong chords. But no one could hear me, and I was just like having a proper good time. So it looked to everyone else like I was doing amazingly, but I've never told anyone either. But uh, truth's out now, I guess.
Yeah.
I was playing all the wrong chords, but I was having a right time. And yeah, I got loads of praise from that, and that's where my sort of love of music. I remember being up there, and I was like, I want to do this. And that was where my whole music journey began, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, sure. So just on that then, sorry. So when you was at the gig at the Gorilla Beer Hall, when before you came up, had you gone like backstage or anything with the band beforehand, or did he just kind of like introduce you and like sing you like mid gig or something and just like plucked you out of the crowd?
I think it was a bit like we saw them doing the sound check because my mum and dad got there proper early. And we saw them doing the sound check, and my dad was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, he's here." And he's like, "Oh, brilliant!" Like, and I can't remember if he did anything with the ukulele. I don't think he did. He just put it on the side and was like, kind of. So I was a bit like, it might not, might happen. And then it was literally just gig as normal. And I was just watching him, and then he asked me up on stage. So I was kind of half expecting it,
Yeah.
half like not sure what to think would happen because he didn't really go like this is definitely happening. Just maybe he'd play the ukulele. That was it. Now I think we all thought he would just play my ukulele. And
Right,
then we were like,
okay.
right, so I might not be getting let up, and then he let me up. And luckily the sound was turned down because I was playing all the wrong chords. But still a good experience.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that's a lot of people, first gigs can tell you who they've gone and seen, but to actually say that you've been up on stage as well with someone that's clearly, obviously you're a massive fan of, has obviously had a big influence. I don't think there's going to be many people that are going to be able to say anything like that. So just kind of like then sticking with the live music scene, really. Obviously, so since that gig that we've just mentioned there at the Gorilla Beer Hall, you've obviously gone on to support the lottery winners earlier on this year at O2 Academy in Leeds. You supported Alex Spencer at the Brundell Social Club, the Claws in Barnsley, Concrete Club, friends of the show. Shout out to them in Manchester as well. So I think it's fair to say there's been some pretty big gigs in there and some fantastic artists that are all, making a really good name for themselves in the indie scene and hopefully they're going to all keep pushing further forward into the mainstream. So looking back, if you can look at those gigs individually, 'cause obviously it is quite difficult. Are there any memories, sorry, from those gigs that you sort of like look back on and think, God, wow, this is what I want to do, forever.
Well, I think the one time where I remember saying to my mum, I was at another lottery winners gig, funnily enough. I
Yeah.
think there's going to be a lot of lottery winners in this. And they were playing at the Apollo in Manchester, and we went to the sound check because again, I said my mum and dad are stalkers, so they pay for the Patreon, which means they can go in and watch the sound check.
Right.
And I got through in as a plus one,
Mhm.
and we were watching them do the sound check, and I think Tom could hear everything all right in the monitors and stuff, but like wanted to know what it sounded like from like the crowd. So there's about
Yep.
200, maybe 300 people in there
Wow.
anyway, for the sound check. And then Tom was like, I want to hear what it sounds. So Johnny, will you come up and play favorite flavor? And again, I'd not, we didn't, this time we had no idea this was going to happen. So I was a
Mm.
bit like wow, like, yeah. Got myself upstage, managed not to like make a fool of myself getting upstage. And then Tom went down where the crowd was and that. And it was quite cool because the lights were on me, so I couldn't see that it wasn't full. So it looked full to me.
Yeah.
So I was up on stage at the Apollo, and I was a bit naive to the fact that it was the Apollo in Manchester. It's like such an iconic venue,
Mm.
and I was a bit like, oh yeah, because it was just mad. Like I'd never played a live gig at all, and he asked me again, like, do you want to come up on stage? And I played favorite flavor. I was Tom. And then yeah, I had this orange jumper on, and then I remember Tom had an orange jumper on the next gig. So my dad started telling me that he'd copied that off me, and then Tom grew some hair magically, and I said that that was due to me as well. But yeah, that was again like, and then I remember coming off that, and I played that, and again I didn't do any of the chords wrong this time. So I think I got a bit more recognition. And
Yeah.
someone came off that goes, do you know Owen Michael Williams? He's a sort of promoter, and he puts on gigs around Manchester and that.
Right.
And
Okay.
he's really helped me as well. And he saw me and then give me his business card, like a little bit of a like sneaky
Yeah.
uh, pass of the card. And then he was like, "Do you want to play a gig?" And just before we'd done that, I was going speaking to my mum, and I said like, "Mum, I want to." If by the end of the year, I think it was like January when that happened, I said by the end of the year I want to play at least one gig,
Hmm.
one live gig, and then literally like seconds after that, he came up to me and was, I'd put on gigs around Manchester, I'd do an after all festival. Would you like to open it for me? And I was like, yeah. And that I was literally like, I had about 3 months to prepare, and that
Yeah.
was my first live gig. So that
Wow.
is literally where everything links back to lottery winners,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it kind of spiraled from there, man. So that was where my first kind of went, I want to do this.
Yeah, yeah, sure, okay, and also as well, you've sort of well, it's about I think quite late in December, around about Christmas time, I think like last year, obviously did a little certainly I think it's an acoustic session. I think is maybe the right way of putting it. Obviously with Reverend and the Makers.
Yes.
Did he pass on any words of wisdom at all? Obviously, someone who's been around in the game, what must be for
Hmm.
about 20 odd years now, as Reverend of the Makers.
But that was another one. It was just by chance I saw he was doing because he was doing some promotion for his Christmas song,
Yeah,
late night phone call, and he was like, "We're putting up this pop up shop in Meadowhall. Like, anyone want to get down acoustic acts?" So I immediately put my name down. I think I was the first person to put my name down, and then he put me in for whatever day it was. I can't remember now really. And yeah, I got there, and then there was some other acts on, and it's like this little shop, no, probably a tiny bit bigger than the bit you're in at the minute.
yeah, yeah,
And it was really cool because I don't again I think I'm very naive still, like I do some TikTok lives and stuff, and everyone's asking for these songs. I've got no idea who they're by, and I didn't really, I knew Reverend and the Makers, and I've not really understood like how big he was, so I didn't
yeah.
realize how much of a massive deal. And then I researched and stuff anyway, and I got there, and I remember he was so nice, like such a sound guy. Everyone I've met that speaks about him can't speak highly enough about him. Apart from the fact he's a Wednesday fan, apart from that, he's all right. I let him off. He's one of the good ones. But yeah, I got there, and then I was like, because he's done this song with the Lottery Winners as well, and that was out
Yeah.
by then, and I'd learned it, and I was like really nervous. Can you sing your bits in the song? Because I didn't know whether it'd be like just want to chill while watching some acts and
Mm.
stuff. He was like, nah, yeah, we'll do that, and I think I forgot the words to some of them. So he's like, can you do the middle eight bit? And I didn't know what a middle eight was either. So I was sat there like, what's that like while playing? So I did that with him, and that was a bit of a surreal moment as well. And then a little girl got up and started dancing with us, and that was quite fun. And then after, I think I remember being like a bit gobsmacked because he was proper nice. And then he was like speaking about, he's like, look at this meme that Noel Gallagher sent me. I was like, and he just showed me this phone. He's like Noel Gallagher, just like him and Noel Gallagher having chats. Just like casually. That was a bit of a surreal moment as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, so all these things that are proper surreal. Like I feel like I'm so lucky because I don't feel like I've deserved it. Like they've just come to me by sort of chance, and I'm riding a bit of a wave at the minute. I feel, and it's all coming all at once.
Yeah, yeah. Just on Reverend, obviously, he's obviously John's brother. Chris obviously does the Steve Bracknell
Yeah.
the videos in with the Royal Oak. Have you watched any of that before?
Yeah, I think that's what we were on about when he was on about the Noel Gallagher. I think he sent it and then oh that was it. So he sent Noel one of Steve Bracknell videos and I think it was Noel Gallagher just put back prick. Just the word prick. But yeah, I'm a massive fan of Steve Bracknell.
Yeah.
Together as one.
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely brilliant. Love it. And yeah, love watching those videos. So we'll a little bit less talk about Sheffield Wednesday. Let's come on to Sheffield United. Because obviously you quite recently had an incredible experience performing at Bramall Lane in front of about 28,000 Sheffield United supporters. What was that moment like for you, and sort of how did it feel to sort of have that connection, with the song? And obviously you'll explain in a minute, but the connection with the song that you'd done with the crowd as well that was there.
No, that was, man, that was probably one of the most surreal moments I've ever had in this music sort of thing that I've
Mm,
got going on at the minute. Was I just literally, I think I was about to go to an Alex Spencer concert, and just before we went, we saw the night before, I think it was the right back who used to play for Sheffield United, George Baldock, died I think at 31 in Greece, which is like tragic, man. And then obviously everyone was gutted, and I was like, well, like we had this song, Sheffield United fans have the song because I've got a season ticket. And then it was like Starman by David Bowie, but it was Switch the Words with George Baldock. And I just posted that on my Twitter and TikTok, and I got so many like lovely messages from Sheffield United fans, like, cried to this and that. And I got back from the Alex Spencer gig. I saw how many like people had connected with it and that. It was a bit surreal that. And then I got an email from Sheffield United a few days after saying they do a little fan zone, which is
yeah.
new. And they said like, would you like to come and play it? And I was like, yeah, I've been at the fan zone as well, and there's quite a few people that go down, but like
Mm,
not to the extent that it was when I was playing, or not because I was playing, but the fact that it was this moment where it was the first game back after the tragic death,
yeah.
and it was like everyone was there for George Baldock, and it was a proper emotional moment. I went before to go put some flowers down by his memorial bit that they had at Bramall Lane as well, and it just shows you like stuff like that's got no colours. You have the Chef Wednesday, I think there was Rotherham ones, and I'm sure there was loads of others. And then I got there on the day. And there was this other band on before me. They played their set, and then I got on to do the George Baldock one for the second time, and it was like unbelievable because this fan zone, like, it overlooks the stadium from where I'm stood on stage,
Yeah.
and you can see everyone, walking into the stadium in this little gap. And it was like everyone had kind of stopped to go listen to my song that I'd made, or half made, mostly made by David Bowie and Sheffield United fans. But I got up there and I was like Jesus, it felt like everyone was watching me. There's people on the stands that go up towards the cop, stood
Yeah.
on the cop like rails watching me, and there was people in the stadium watching me as well. And I was just like looking at every little bit. There was people outside the fan zone watching me. Like everyone was crowded. I was like one of the. I would never get rid of that picture in my head,
Mm,
and everyone looking back and sort of crying, like listening to this song, it makes me emotional now thinking of it. Like it's just like why you love these sort of things like music and football, the two things I think bring us together the most in the world, I'd say. And it was just this moment where like everything kind of stood still for a minute whilst I was playing this song and everyone was singing along to it, and yeah, it was one of the most special moments ever for me. And then I think we got onto Bramall Lane, and I didn't realise I was going to speak in front of the crowd at half time. And luckily we were winning. And I say 28,000 people, by the way. It was probably about half that because we were all in the pisser because it was half time. But I saw on the board it said at half time it said 28,572 or something. I can't remember
Yeah.
specifically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somewhere around that. So that's what I tell everyone. And I remember Gary Sinclair was speaking to me about the thing, and then no one really listens. And then he was like, "Oh, like, would you sing it now?" And I was like, I didn't expect it at all. So it was a bit awkward. I didn't have nothing ready, so I was like, I just sang it when there's a star man, and then everyone sang along again, and it was just like like being as a kid wanting to play at Bramall Lane for the whole of my life. Just that, like I would probably have died happy doing that because it was like seeing all the fans, even like Stoke City fans, I think, were also singing it.
Wow.
So it was like a proper, again, special moment where I don't think I'll ever forget, and I'm proper thankful to everyone at Sheffield United for allowing that to happen.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I can imagine what a what a fantastic sort of moment and memory as well for you. And it sounds like you've obviously touched quite a lot of blades, in that obviously in a obviously sad, very sad and tragic situation that happened to George Baldock, as you said at the start of that. But just sticking, obviously, just fast forwarding in to where you are now. Obviously, you're not going to go up automatically, but you've had a very good season. You've been right in the mix for automatic promotion. Do you think that Chris Wilder's going to get you up via the playoffs and then back into the promised land, as everyone calls it?
It's the promised land. He'll be back in the other bit a year later, but I hope he does. But with our track record, I think we've had 7 playoffs and or 9 and not gone through at all. I think we got to the final 5 times, and it's just I don't have much hope if I'm honest. I think we don't know who we're playing at the minute. It could be like Coventry, Blackburn, Middlesbrough, um, but I think I hope I'm confident we'll get to the final. But when we get there, if it's against Bristol City, I would imagine we'd probably lose. If it's against Sunderland, I imagine we'll probably lose. So I'm not that hopeful, but I think if there's a team that I've seen recently that can do it, it's this team. So I've got my fingers crossed. I think that's just about as much as we can do at the minute.
Yeah, no, definitely, and I guess as well, if obviously we've seen. I think it's the last. I think it's the first time. I think I saw earlier on when Ipswich got relegated last week. It's the first time that for like consecutive seasons that the three teams that have come up have come straight back down again. So it'll be interesting to see if that sort of cycle changes next year.
It's sad, man. I think if the same thing happens, then something needs to be done in terms of the finance and what goes to
Mm.
what teams. Because it's like you say, Premier League's the best team, the best league in the world. Like you can't have the same team. Just the gap between them is so big now. I think Leeds will probably stay up because of Jamie. I live near Leeds, so I don't like Leeds. Yeah, so a few people have clicked off by now, but like I feel like they've got good foundations. They're obviously a massive club, so I think they would probably stay up to be honest. But I think apart from that, they're a bit of an anomaly. It's like Leicester going back up as well, which
Mm.
I'm sure they will next season. I think they've also got another chance going back up to again build on what they've got and then probably stay up. So I think I would be surprised if it carries on again, but I think still there needs to be something done about that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, be certainly keeping my eye out on the playoffs to sort of see what it's going to be like next year in
Hmm.
terms of who gets into the Premier League. So we've done all the live stuff. Let's go. It's obviously part of the reason why we are here on the This Is the Music Meets podcast is to chat about the brand new single. It's called "Get Your Act Together." It's just been out for about just over a week now at the time of recording this podcast. And it's rapidly closing in on 5,000 Spotify streams. And hopefully, by the time this podcast is finally out, you would have hit that milestone. So, how pleased are you then with the reaction and the reception that it's had?
Man, I'm absolutely brilliant. I think we hit 5,000 yesterday, or it might have been the
Oh, we've
start
already
of the
done it,
day.
right? Brilliant.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm proper buzzing with that. I've said to everyone that I'm wanting to get this one to about 10,000. So I've got some of me friends and me dad just got it on repeat. So we're gonna try and get it up there. But if we can get as many people listening to it as possible, I'd love that. Like I think the two of the first songs that I brought out, Repeat Offender and Get Your Act Together, are probably I'd say a bit more of a grungy feel to like what I would say my sound is. Obviously, I'm still trying to work it out.
Mhm.
But I'm really happy with the way Get Your Act Together's come out, and the meaning behind it and stuff. I'm proper proud of it, and I'm glad, like overwhelmed with the amount of people that are seeing the same thing. And like when you get that sort of thing where people connect with your song, it's one of the best feelings. It's why you do it. Do you know what I mean? As corny as that sounds, but like
No.
I'm proper buzzing with the amount of love I'm getting on it at the minute.
Yeah, sure. I can totally understand that. And for those that maybe haven't heard the song yet, The link to it's going to be in the episode bio, and if you're listening to this podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcast, then it will be at the end of the episode as well. The song has been described as a huge statement of intent. Was this track sort of meant to signal a sort of a new direction or evolution at all in your music, or as you've just said, are you still trying to find out what you know the direction that you want to go in?
Yeah, I think if anyone at like my sort of point, like I had my first gig last year in April,
Hmm.
and was writing songs for a bit before that, but never like sort of this full band sort of thing. So I'm still trying to work it out at the minute, to be honest. But yeah, I think this one had a bit more sort of thought behind it in terms of the story behind it. It's about a time I was a bit days with my friend, and we went to this quarry that's pictured in the artwork. See how it all links together. I'm a very clever
Yeah.
man. But yeah, so we went to this quarry. I remember we had a few strongbows, which is also pictured in the artwork.
Yeah.
And we were talking about, I think we were talking about just what we wanted to do for the rest of our lives as people my age do. And it was like we got no idea really. Obviously, mine was the fact that I want to become a musician if I can. And then it was all about the fact that, success. We were all we were speaking like we'd failed already. And it's like not even the start really. And then I kind of, the rest of the songs kind of reflecting on the fact that, success takes a bit of time and like success comes in different ways. Like in a year, I might want to be doing something completely different.
Hmm.
And if I'm succeeding in what I'm doing and I'm happy, like I think that's what the song kind of alludes to, the fact that you can be wanting to get to all these goals, and if you don't get it, doesn't necessarily mean that you've not succeeded. Like there's still always a chance that you can get there, and it's kind of a song of being a bit drunk and sobering up, and then speaking about the difference in my thoughts. So
Yes.
that's kind of where the story came from. I think that's the bit of a difference between that and Repeat Offender. Repeat Offender was kind of written all at one go, the
Hmm.
whole story and the lyrics and that. Whereas I think this one I took a bit more time to think about what I was going to include and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, sure. And obviously on this new single, Get Your Act Together, you obviously worked alongside with Tom A. Smith, who obviously produced the song. Um, what was that experience like, and did his influence shape sort of like the overall sound of the song at all?
Yeah, man, definitely, and for the better as well. Because I remember I think my mum saw his dad at a gig because they were at his gig,
Yeah.
and they're both from Sunderland, so they could speak their alienated language together. And my mum could translate it back to me. So my mum translated that back to me and said like Tom's looking for to produce some songs, and obviously I was looking for a song to be produced. So I messaged Tom, and he was in the middle of a big tour with girl band.
Yeah.
So he said, "Wait a minute, mate. Like, chill out. I'll get it. I'll get back to you later." I was like, "Okay." And then I nagged him again, and he was like, "Right, well, get this out of the way." So he gave me a date, and I went round to his house. And it's literally just like his sort of bedroom,
Yeah.
but without a bed in. And he's got all this like stuff that's been there for ages. He's got all these posters of him supporting Catfish and the Bottom and Sam Fender. It's just a mural of showing off, and it was really pissing me off. But it just shows you, like, I was going in there, it was like I had massive imposter syndrome, and I've said this to everyone that I've spoken to it about. Um, and it was just like watching him do his thing. It was like you could just I was very humbled in the fact that I know I'm a long way off what he's at, and it's fully deserved to him as well because he's grinded his ass off to get to where he is.
Hmm.
And it's a massive credit to him, and I think the song kind of shows that because I think a lot of the riffs of it is from him. I think it's sort of me doing the same sort of, can you do this sound? And then he'll go what this, and then I'll just do something 10 times better, and I'll be like, yeah, something like that. But it was just mad like seeing him put it together and like how his brain works, and I think I learned a lot from him as well. Because he's worked with the likes of Miles Kane and stuff, and he was giving me so much advice, so I'm proper thankful to him. And hopefully it's not the last time I'm working with him as well. So yeah, looking forward to that.
Brilliant, great stuff, and yeah, we should obviously say that as you've just said there, that Tom A. Smith is obviously absolutely flying, in in what he's doing at the minute, and I did catch him live last year at the Isle of Wight festival, and I thought he was really impressed with what he's doing. So yeah,
Mm.
good luck to him as he continues to make a name for himself in the scene. So obviously, as we said, this is your second single. So how then did this differ from Repeat Offender? in terms of the writing and the recording process.
Well, Repeat Offender was recorded and produced by the amazing Niall Fennell, who's the drummer from the Claws.
Yeah,
I massively look up to him as well. And I spoke to him about getting my first ever song done. My dad messaged him when he asked for producing, like in a sort of similar way, and was like, "Look, I've got my son who's very inexperienced, and he'd love to have this song produced. I know it's a massive risk if." It kind of tarnishes what he was doing because I think he was wanting to do that as like a full-time thing along with the Claws.
yeah,
And he was just like, and he messaged me back. He was like proper understandable. He was lovely with me. Like being a, small fish in a big pond, like didn't know what was going on. And then he dropped me a message and then we had a Zoom call, much like this, but it was a bit more like, I was a bit more like, I was proper buzzing, nervous.
yeah, yeah,
I think I've kind of learned to be a bit less awkward now. But he was so nice, man, and I think the recording for Repeat Offender we had to do it over 2 days as well, so that was a bit different because I think the original recording studio, I think there was a leak or the power had cut or something, so we couldn't do it there. So we did a demo and then had to do it again
yeah,
over 2 days. And it was like trekking back and forth from Warsaw and Wolverhampton. But this one, I was trekking up to Sunderland for the Get Your Act Together. But it's
yeah.
where my grandma lives, so it was all right. I could stay over at my grandma's for the Get Your Act Together. But yeah, I think both were like very different in terms of the way that they produced it. But I think both like I absolutely love it. Like I've had experiences with other producers since, and I maybe not taken to their style as much. But I think Niall and Tom, like it's a massive again credit to them because they're so talented in everything they do. And found out when I was there that actually made the riff for the In Your Element, which is their most
Is
famous song,
that
and he's the
right?
drummer. So it's like crazy. He's doing all these. I didn't even have drums in my Repeat Offender song. He didn't even utilize his best strength. Um, and Tom plays the drums as well. This is what I mean. I'm just sat there with me ukulele and guitar, like sat in the corner mucking about, and those two are like, "All right, well, what instruments do you want next?" And they'll bang it out. But yeah, I think both of them was a bit mad like that because I look up to them both like massively. And Repeat Offender, I think, sort of, I didn't have that many songs out at the time, as in like written.
Hmm.
And I sent him a few, and then he was like, and then I said to him, "I've got this song called Repeat Offender. It's only like half written. Like, what do you think?" And then Niall was like, "Yeah, let's do that one." And I think that's why it was a bit less. It was all kind of one smooth sailing
Hmm.
thing. And then rather than Get Your Act Together, which took me a bit longer, and I think I kind of enjoy that more. I've got like 1,700 songs that aren't fully written yet,
Wow.
but obviously not that much. But I'm exaggerating a bit. But I feel like I enjoy doing that more because you can come back to it with a fresh mind and kind of look at it and go, right, well, this isn't what I want it to be. We'll change that a bit. Whereas Repeat Offender was kind of, I'm still proper proud of it. I love it, but I think Repeat Offender was a bit more like not rushed, but a bit quicker paced, if
Mhm.
that makes sense. I'm just
Yeah,
adding words in for the sake of it now, but both of them I really loved, and yeah, proper proud of what I've come up with.
yeah, yeah, sure. Well, I think both tracks are fantastic, and it's quite interesting there listening to you talking about the different styles of Niall and Tom. There, it's quite I sort of quite got as I've gone along doing this, I sort of found that side of it a bit more as fascinating as what
Mm.
we actually get to hear. When it's finally released. So on every This Is the Music Meets podcast, we ask our guests a series of questions that are designed to be a little bit more light-hearted and help the listeners find out a little bit more about the artist that we are chatting to. So first up, we're going to play a little game of Winner Stays On.
Okay.
So I'll give you the name of a band or an artist, and you pick which one stays on, basically. And then eventually, whichever one is left is obviously the winner.
Right.
So all the artists are you've either supported or you have been influenced by in your musical
You're gonna get
journey.
me in the shit here.
Yeah, I know it's going to be an interesting one. So we'll see how we get on. So first of all, we've got the Claws versus Alex Spencer. Sorry, Alex
Oh,
Spencer, I should say.
I think I don't know, it's tough these ones. I think I'd probably go the Claws because I've been listening to him longer. But I think Alex is a really good mate of mine now. Like he's a proper lovely lad. But I think he'd admit as well he'd love to support the Claws. So I think I'll go with the Claws. as of now. But obviously, I love Alex if he's watching this.
Yeah, no, well, fingers crossed he is, and I've been been to him from when he was busking and all that
Yeah, man.
on the street, so it's great to see he's flying. So okay, so the claws are still on. So it's the claws v Pablo Carrizo. I think I've
Ooh.
said that right.
Now I've not supported Pablo yet, and he had a chance to come down to watch me support Spangled, and for whatever reason he don't come down. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna stick with the clause so far. But I've not met Pablo yet, but I love what he's about. I love his new tune Somewhere Else, and obviously the Old Faithful, and I'm
Yeah,
buzzing to support him soon. So I think it's in May, so it should be that long. But yeah, buzzing for
yeah,
that.
yeah. No, okay, right. So the claws v Shade.
Ooh, again, I think I met Shade. They were supporting Alex Spencer at Hyde Park Book Club. I met them. I've not supported them yet. My good mate Owen manages them, but I'm going to stick with the claws so far.
Okay, right. Wow, they're going to smash this here. The claws. Here we go. Right, the claws v the Raytons.
Ooh, I think some people are going to get annoyed at you with the pronunciation there. I say the
Oh
rating.
no, that's the southerner.
Um, the ratings, just because I'd love to support them. I'm going to say the ratings if they're watching this. I'm going to try polish them
Yeah,
up a little bit, and
yeah. Okay. Well,
I'll say the
good.
ratings.
Yeah, good run there for the claws. But yeah, we've got a new winner now in the game. So we'll try and pronounce it right this time. We'll see how we get on. So the Raytons v Concrete Club.
Ooh. Again, I think I've realised I've got a song that mentions the ratings that should be coming out in the summer, so I'm going to stick with the ratings. But I love a bit of Concrete Club.
Okay, yeah, yeah, love Concrete Club. Okay, so the Raytons, no, I've probably said that wrong as well. But anyway, the Raytons against the K's.
Oh, that's a good one. That I think I've always said like I've absolutely loved the K's. I've watched them so many times now, and I've got my mates on them. So I think I'm going to have to go with the K's because they're one of my favourite bands ever. I watched them in Sheffield recently, and I think they're cracking.
Yeah, yeah, I think they're absolutely flying, and it's good to see. Yeah, another band, watch them again grow and grow, and it's great to see. So this is the final. This is it.
Final,
This is the last one. I'm pretty sure you can guess which band is going to be
yeah.
coming here in this section. So it's obviously the K's versus the lottery winners.
No, I think I spoke to this about my mum and dad. With my mum and dad, sorry. And I think my mum was a bit surprised. I think she was when I said it. But I would say the lottery winners. I think everything they've done for me, I don't think I'll ever be able to repay that to them. And I think they were the start of my music. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the lottery winners.
Yeah.
And they've got some cracking tunes as well. So I would say the lottery winners. I think they're friggin' ace.
Brilliant. There we go. There's our winner in that little game. I hope you enjoyed that.
Enjoyed that,
Uh,
yeah.
so the next question, if you could open for any band in history, who would it be? And what is the one thing that you'd say to them backstage?
Genuinely, if you'd have asked me this in January, I would have said the lottery winners.
Yeah.
And I've done that so that you could put me against like biggest band in the world. And I would genuinely say the lottery winners, and I think the fact that I've done that now is a massive like. I don't think I'll ever be able to comprehend like
Hmm.
the fact that I've done that. And it's like everyone's dreaming it that does music to have your boyhood band
Yeah.
and support them. But I think if we got to take lottery winners out of the equation, I would say the K's because they're I'd say my second favorite band. So
Yeah.
if you've picked two good bands there in that last segment, and I'd probably say, can I go on again
Yeah.
backstage if I had to say anything. I remember there's a funny story of me, Bridlington by the Sea, this
Yeah.
feeling.
Yeah.
I was at that last year it was,
Hmm.
and my mate Owen, as I said again, he massively helped me. He had an extra VIP ticket, so after the gig that they headlined the Bridlington by the Sea, I got up into the VIP bit, managed to smuggle my way in there, and then that was where I first met Alex Spencer as well. Spoke to them a lot there,
Yeah.
and kind of stuck with them for a little bit until they got bored of me and kind of was like I could, you can sense someone's like, who's this guy like? So I went and got drunk and to calm myself down a little bit. And I'd never met the K's before, and they were massive heroes of mine. And the thing Owen said to me before he went in, he went, "Go in there, enjoy yourself. Just make sure you're not being like a fanboy because it's, all the bands and that." And immediately saw Dexter, the bassist. I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh my God, you're right. I'm your biggest fan. My name's Jonny. You don't know who I am. Can I have a picture? Can I have a kiss?" And it was just immediately my head had gone. And then I managed to see the rest of it apart from the drummer, Nathan, and I saw Jamie. I've got a picture with him, and that's one of my prized possessions at the minute. So I'd probably say the K's and that, yeah.
Brilliant, nice one, loving that, great answer. So I'm not sure if you've seen on social media, but there's obviously been a little bit of a trend in recent weeks with the AI starter packs, like the Action Man figures
Yes,
style
yes.
things. So the question is, if Johnny Blade was an action man figure, sorry, what accessories would come in the box? And I can
Ooh.
think of two things based on what you've been saying in this interview,
What
and
you
others.
thinking? What you
I'm
thinking?
thinking your ukulele and a can of Strongbow.
I don't think many ladies are buying that action figure if I've got a ukulele next to him. Um, but I'm probably yeah. The Strongbow was a poor decision. I think it was just the fact that it was a bit cheaper than the other
Yeah,
stuff, so we
yeah.
got a bit of Strongbow. At the minute though, I'd probably say as an action figure, I'd have to say, ooh, what do I have that's action figure? I'd probably say guitar and maybe what's something that I can't. And we'll say, I can't think of anything else.
So we've got some more sort of quick fire-ish questions for you now. Vinyl or streaming?
Ooh, like I must admit, I do I buy cassettes rather than
Oh,
vinyls.
nice.
I've got a
Yeah, yeah.
cassette player now, and I bring it around with me to college and that. So I'd probably say out of them two, it'd probably be streaming. My dad's got a vinyl player, but I'd probably say cassette, probably out the most of them. More
Nice.
bands need to bring out cassettes because I've been trying to get loads of ratings and loads of K's and loads of lottery winners cassettes, and they don't have them up on sale. So sort that out.
There we go. We heard it here first. Studio or stage?
Stage, it's got to be. That's why I do it, and that's why you do the studio stuff so you can do the stage. So it's got to be stage.
Okay. What's your go-to takeaway order?
There's a nice takeaway near me called Mario's, and it's a Italian, and he does this like lovely doner meat and chips and a bit of garlic sauce in it, and I'd get that times two.
Brilliant. And one artist that you wish you could switch lives with for one day.
Ooh. Oh. Probably, I would have said Stormzy because I had a massive crush on Maya Jama back in the day.
No.
But apart from that, I'd probably say, oh, we'll go Tom, and then I'll get Tom to sort me loads of support acts for him. I'll just message myself and be like, "Do you want to do this, 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 and this?" And then we'll switch, and I'll be like, "Oh my word!"
Brilliant. I like the thinking. I like the thinking. And just one final question then. What are the rest of your plans for 2025? What can we
Rest of the plans
expect
for
from you?
2025. I've got a massive bucket list, and I won't say what's on it in case it doesn't come true. But I'm planning. I'd love to support loads more bands that'd have me. I'd love my song to get to 10,000 streams, and at the minute, I'm just trying to like obviously, I'm planning to go to uni. I'm planning to do all these other things this year. After A levels, planning to pass my A levels is what I'm planning to do at the minute. But apart from that, it's literally just do as many gigs as I can and enjoy it. As long as I'm enjoying it, I'm going to keep doing it. And I love listening to podcasts like this. I listened to one with Andrew Cushioning recently as well, and I think Finn Foster as well. I look up to, and they all say like they're still enjoying it, and that's why they're still doing it. And I think for me, this year is all about trying to build a bit of an audience and have a
Yeah.
bit of that following, so that I can eventually do a headline gig. And I'm planning to do that about next year. I say planning, I've not done any sort of planning, but that's what I've got in the back of my mind. I've got an idea that I'd love to do that. So that I'd probably say. I'd love to do a headline by 2026 or in 2026.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, look, I think you're absolutely smashing it already across both of the releases that you've put out so far,
Thank
and
you, man.
as you quite rightly say there, you know, as long as you're enjoying it, that's the most important thing. So keep going. But look, Johnny, unfortunately, that is the end of the This Is the Music Meets podcast. Thanks so much for coming on. I've really loved chatting to you and getting to find out a little bit more about you and your musical sort of journey. You know, so far, and wish you all the luck in the world for the future. But before I do let you go, can you let the This Is the Music listeners know the social media platforms that they can find you on?
Yes, you can find me on everything. I think my dad's got me on Blue Sky now, so I'm on Blue Sky, X, formerly known as Twitter. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I've got some YouTube stuff up. And yeah, don't find my old YouTube, but you can find the Johnny Blade one. That's all. That's all free for you to use. And it's all Johnny Blade, Johnny Blade music. It's got a little underscore for the old biddies listening, an underscore, and you've got to click another button in the bottom left to the keyboard, and then you fit the underscore, and then you write music. So that's they're my social.
Brilliant, great stuff. We'll put those links in the episode bio for people to find out all the latest that's going on with you.
Thank you very much.
And obviously, as we said earlier on, we'll put the link as well to the new single in there as well. Look, best of luck as well for getting up to the 10,000 streams. You're obviously pretty much half or about halfway there now. And yeah, just keep doing what you're doing, man, because there's a lot of people that are out there that are rooting for you. So best of luck with
Thank
it.
you, man. I just want to say another massive thank you for having me on and the work you do for all the people like me for grassroots and the reason you've got that little trophy to your left. We've all seen it. And yeah, but yeah, thank you so much for the support on Repeat Offender and Get Your Act Together. I think you were one of the first people that started supporting me on that song that I literally never met you before. So thank you so much. You do a lot of work behind the scenes. So everyone go follow This Is the Music and thank you for having me on, man.
And all that leaves me to say is to thank everyone for tuning in to the latest This Is the Music Meets podcast. Please subscribe so you never miss out on any brand new episodes. And if you're loving the podcast, show us some love by giving us a rating and written review, as it really does help the artists we interview to be discovered. If you are listening to this episode on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, then stay tuned, because at the end of this episode, you'll be able to hear the brilliant new single from Johnny Blade. It's called Get Your Act Together. I'll see you very soon for another This Is the Music Meets podcast. And remember, the future is bright. The future is indie.